Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Shulchan. Today's chapter is chapter Siman Kuf Nun Hilchas Sneas, chapter 150 Laws of Modesty. Number 1. It is fitting that man conduct himself with great holiness, pure thoughts, and a correct attitude with having a marital relationship. He should not indulge in frivolity with his wife, nor defile his mouth with indecent jests, even in private conversation with her. For the scriptures say, and declare to man what is his conversation. And that's Amos 4:13. And our rabbis of blessed memory said, even a light conversation between a man and his wife are recalled to him on the day of judgment. In 5b, he should not converse with her during the marital act, nor immediately before it, except when what is necessary for marital relations. When she's angry and he is forbidden to have marital relations with her, he may speak kind words to her to appease her. The marital act should be in the most possible modest manner. He underneath and she above him is considered an impudent manner. Both at the same level is an act of perversion. It is said of Rabbi Elazar that the marital act was done with such awe and terror that it appeared as if a demon was forcing him to do it. Masechet Nedarim 20b. Number 2. While engaged in the marital act, you should think about Torah subjects or other sacred subjects. Even though during the act itself it's forbidden to speak words of Torah, thinking about them is permitted and meritorious, for thought is not likened to speech in this case. Even though in filthy alleys it's forbidden to even think about sacred subjects, this is because of the divine command, and your camp shall be holy. Deuteronomy 22:15. Where it is forbidden because of body nakedness, concerning which is written, Elvas Dava, an unseeming thing, our sage of blessed memory inferred from this that speaking Dava, words of Torah, is forbidden, but thinking about them is permitted. And that's from Masechet Shabbos 158. The word Dava indicates actual speech. Number 3. The marital act is forbidden in a lighted room, even if the light is dimmed with a garment. But if you make a partition 10 tefachim high in front of the light, is permissible. Marital relations are also forbidden by day unless the room is darkened. At night, if the moon is shining directly on you, it is forbidden. However, if it is not shining directly on you, even though it is shining into the room, you may shut out its light with a garment or window shade, and it is then permitted. Also, there is a light in another room, and it shines into this room. You must shut out this light with a garment. Number 4, marital relations are forbidden in the presence of any person who is awake. Even if he is asleep, it's preferable to have a partition as well. The Halacha 246. In front of the light is permissible. Marital relations are also forbidden by day unless the room... I said that a bit. Number 4. Marital relations are forbidden in the presence of any person who is awake, even the partition of 10 tefachim. In the presence of a child who is unable to speak, it is permitted. Number 5. It is forbidden to look at the genitals of your wife. Anyone who does look there is devoid of shame. He violates the scriptural verse and walk humbly or modestly before Adonai, and remove the sign of shame from his face. A bashful person is not apt to sin, as it is written, so that his fear be upon your face. In Exodus 20:20, which refers to bashfulness, so that you will not sin. Also, by looking there, you stimulate evil desire within yourself. Certainly one who kisses that place violates all these admonitions, and in addition, he violates scriptural verse to not make yourself repulsive. Leviticus 11:43. Number 6, in a room where there is a Sefer Torah, any other scriptural scroll written on parchment. Mishnah 40:23. One thing is forbidden until it's removed to another room. If there is no other room, you must make a partition in front of it that is 10 tefachim high. The partition should be totally closed up so that the Sefer Torah cannot be seen. A curtain around the bed is not considered a partition since it is movable unless it is tied at the bottom. To fill in Chomoshim or other sacred writings such as the Talmud, Midrash, and the commentaries, whether they are written or printed, should be placed into a vessel within a vessel. This is valid only when the second vessel of covering is not especially made for such holy works, but if they are especially made for them, even 10 such vessels are all considered as only one vessel. If you spread a cover over the chest containing these books, it is considered like a vessel within a vessel. Also, a mezuzah, when affixed on the inside of the room, must be covered with 2 covers, so that it should be a vessel within a vessel. The name Shaddai on the outer face of the mezuzah must also be covered. A glass covering is of no avail, for the covering must not be transparent. Thus, if only one of the covers is made of glass, it is permitted. Mishnah Berurah 47. Number 7, you must not be excessive in marital relations with your wife, except at the time you are required to fulfill her conjugal rights, as it is written, I shall not diminish her conjugal rights. In Exodus 21:10, men who are healthy, who enjoy the pleasure of life, who have profitable businesses in their hometown, and are not burdened with taxes, should perform their marital duty nightly. Laborers who work in the city in which they reside should perform their marital duty twice a week. If they are employed in another city, their marital duty is once a week. Also, the merchants who travel to the villages with their mules to buy grain to be sold in town, and those who have similar pursuits, their marital duty is once a week. Men who carry freight on camels to distant places, their marital duty is once in 30 days. The marital duty of Torah scholars is from Shabbos Eve to Shabbos Eve. You must perform your marital duty even when your wife is pregnant or nursing. You may not deprive her of her conjugal rights unless she consents to it willingly, and only after you have already fulfilled the divine commandment of propagation. If you deprive her conjugal rights in order to afflict her, you violate a negative command, as it is said, he shall not diminish her conjugal rights. Number 8, every husband is required to be with his wife on the night of her ritual immersion and on the night before he sets out on a journey, unless he is going to perform a mitzvah. When a husband sees that his wife is enticing him, trying to please him and beautifying herself in front of him in order to attract his attention, he is obligated to be with her even if it is not at the appointed time, and from such a union will come worthy children. However, if she demands it openly, she is a brazen woman and is not considered like a harlot, and he is forbidden to keep her for a wife. Number 9, when engaging in marital relations, your intention should not be to satisfy your personal pleasure, but as one fulfilling his obligation, satisfy her conjugal rights, and also to fulfill the command of your Creator, and to have children who engage in Torah study and to fulfill the mitzvahs of the Jewish people. It is also proper if you intend to improve the fetus, as our rabbis of blessed memory said, during the first trimester of pregnancy, cohabitation is difficult for the woman and child. During the middle trimester, it's difficult for the woman but good for the child. During the last trimester, it's good for both the woman and the child, for it will cause the child and his birth to be strong and healthy. And that's from Sechet Nida 31a. This too is a proper intention. If your purpose of being with her is to restrain yourself against sinful lust, when you are overwhelmed by desire and have a craving for it, if this is your intention, you will be rewarded. However, it is better to push off your desire and overcome it, for as the sages said, a man who has a small organ, if he starves it is contented, but if he pampers it, it is hungry. And that's from Masechet Sukkah 52b. But one who has no need for it, but deliberately arouses his desire in order to satisfy that desire, is following the counsel of the evil impulse. Number 10. If possible, you should be careful not to have marital relations in the beginning or the end of the night, but rather in the middle of the night. If you were asleep before this, you may not touch the penile orifice or any other opening in the body, even for the sake of cohabitation, before washing your hands properly. That is 3 times alternately, as stated in chapter 2. Number 11. Marital relations are forbidden in marketplaces, in streets, in gardens, or in orchards. It is permitted only in dwellings, so that it not resemble prostitution. Number 12. If, God forbid, there was such a famine in the land that the price of grain and food doubled, if food is generally available, it is permitted, no matter how much it costs. And that's in the Birkei Yosef Shara Teshuvah 574. Even though you have sufficient grain, food in your house, or if, God forbid, there is some other calamity in the country. The Raman 240:12, the Shalcian rules that in case of other calamity is not prohibited, but it is a matter of individual piety. This law generally only refers to such calamities that have a resultant effect similar to famine. They are forbidden except on the night of ritual immersion. Those who are childless are permitted to have marital relations on each appointed day of their marital duty. This refers to one who has not yet fulfilled the mitzvah of propagation, which is fulfilled with the birth of a boy and a girl, and the Eliyahu Rabbah. One whose children desecrate the Shabbos is probably considered childless with regard to this halacha. Mishnah Berurah 574:12. You should not have marital relations with your wife unless she is willing. But if she is not willing, you should not have marital relations with her, and it is certainly forbidden to force her. Also, you should not have marital relations with her if you hate her. At the time, cohabitation, but if Generally speaking, you hate it, but at that time you do not. It is permitted. Mishnah Berurah 240:15. Or if she hates you and tells you that she does not want you, although she consents to marital relations. Also, if you have decided to divorce her and she's unaware of it, even though you do not hate her, you're forbidden to have marital relations with her. You should also not have marital relations with your wife when she's actually asleep. You also may not have marital relations when either of you are intoxicated. Number 14, house guests are forbidden to have marital relations. But if you and your wife were given private quarters, it is permitted, provided you do not sleep on sheets that belong to the house. Number 15, according to the rules of good health, you should not have marital relations when you are satiated, you should not have marital relations when you are satiated, and not when you're hungry, but only when your food has been digested. You should not have marital relations while standing, and not in a sitting position, not on the day you had a bath. It is probably referred to a steam bath, and is merely a hygienic rule, but not halacha. And on the day you let blood, not on the day you set out on a journey or return from a journey by foot, and not on the day before, nor on the day following any of the above. Number 16, you should not have marital relations on a bed where an infant lies at your feet if the baby is less than 1 year old. After leaving the bathroom, you should wait an hour before having marital relations. A nursing woman should not indulge in marital relations unless the baby is asleep. After marital relations, she should not nurse him before 2/3 of an hour transpires unless the baby is crying. Number 17, semen is the vitality of man's body and the light of his eyes, and when issued in excess, the body weakens and life is shortened. Anyone who overindulges in marital relations ages prematurely, his strength ebbs, his eyes dim, his breath becomes foul, the hair on his head, his eyebrows, and his eyelashes fall out. The hair of his beard and armpits, the hair on his legs increase, his teeth fall out, and many other aches besides these befall him. Great physicians said that 1 out of 1,000 dies from other diseases, and the rest of the 1,999 die from sexual indulgence. Therefore, man should avoid such indulgence. Thank you for listening, and wish you all the best. Bye.